Welcome to Tire Foam Gaming. This channel is all about creative builds, useful tips, I'm making a ton of aluminum, and the occasional "what was I thinking" moment. So I found these are all Mark 1. So subscribe and let's see where this goes. Welcome back. More Satisfactory here. Left off with all of this different aluminum production over here, and alumina solution and aluminum scrap. I'm figuring out what I want to do with the water. So I've got water being delivered over down that way, and then that is being consumed by my different aluminum processes there, and then is being then extracted from the alumina solution and coming back down underneath the railway. So if I planned ahead a little bit better, I probably would have reversed that so that everything would be coming down that way and flowing down this way. So running through all this one, this is staying pretty full, and I want to limit that coming down this way with a valve. I think my more critical mission is all the power that's being done back here, because some of that bauxite and aluminum production may stall if I don't have some overflow put into here. So first thing I want to do is just kind of test out something. I'm not really going to look up how this actually does. I'm going to try to figure it out. So I've got a bunch of water coming in through this way, and then it's just going to keep on flowing through. So then I put a valve here, and right now it's just set to the maximum flow, so it'll allow everything to go in through that way. And I probably want to set this to be some maximum flow of whatever I'm actually consuming in here. So I just wanted to see if I were to restrict this maybe down to like 300 or something, and then that's close enough. And then here, this will just let 300 come through, and then I think that any extra flow will go this way. Well, I don't know what I was thinking, because I'm making a ton of aluminum scrap. 360 per minute. I really messed up my numbers, I suppose. Let me see what I had for my numbers for this. So yeah, my numbers are good. I have 360 items per minute of aluminum being done, aluminum scrap, for a total of 900. But I'm going to need a belt for each one of those refineries to come out. So I'm going to figure out something of how to get that out and still look pretty decent. And then I haven't done any math in here for my foundries, so I'm going to have to do that too. I only have 120 coal coming in, which is not nearly enough, so I need 2.5 times that. So I was going to bring that up with a couple of power shards just to overclock the one node I have, to get that to match what I'm making here. But I'm going to have to figure this part out here first too. Looking at this, my numbers here too for water, I have consumed per refinery water for my plastic is 20. So I have 10 refineries pulled in from my other number. So I need 200 water for my input for my refineries to make this plastic of what I'm currently making right now. I have 300, so I'll have an extra 100 coming out. And I think I limited that to 300, so I have more. So I'm going to put that down to 200 as well and see where that gets me. Alright, so one problem fixed. I have now plenty of capacity to pull out my aluminum. I only have 900, so this is going to make 360, but I'm not going to make that full 360. There's no way with everything else that I have. I only need 2.5 of those refineries. And now these are all coming out, and it's organized pretty well, I'd say. Just have stuff coming down and out and all this aluminum scrap, and right now we're just going to sink it. So now we are flowing. Let's see how our water situation is over here, and we'll get that squared away next. And I said it was 200, so not a whole lot of water coming into here right now. So let's bring this down to 200, which is what my numbers said. is what I was going to need out of this one. Now that should start to fill this up. And then it'll eventually back up down through there. I think we're gonna be all right. We'll see if my numbers work well. One other little thing I need to do just to get caught up is overclock my water extractors and my coal production. So I'm just gonna finish that up before I start making all of my blueprints for the foundries. So I'm just gonna head back real quick and grab some power shards. Alright, so I do need to get more coal to really use all of the water in this, but I did see some of these were filling with water and stopping, and I think that's just because I've got these ones running at a lower capacity. But we're gonna go ahead and throw one of these in because I want 180 per water extractor from my last calculations. Alright, last one. Alright, so now all of my water extractors are now overclocked, and they're giving what I'm going to need for everything. Now what I need to do is bring in more coal. Okay, so I noticed that some of my coal was jittering this way, and I know I'm not going to be supplying enough coal because I need to overclock them. So I was looking at how this was all set up. And I think I found what's happening here, because it is jittering, so it's getting more coal than what's actually needed, and I'm just not producing stuff fast enough here. So I need 120 bauxite per minute coming into each one of these right here. That's a whole 480 belt coming in. So I've got a 480 belt here. These are also jittering all the way through like this. So I found these are all Mark 1. So we'll make these a Mark II, and that should supply just enough for all of these bauxite refinery alumina solution thingies. Ooh, so now it looks like I don't have enough bauxite coming in. Alright, so I figured I was going to have 600 bauxite coming in available for my refineries, and then I would have 5 refineries that would be using it. I have what, 8 refineries now, so I should be over consuming my bauxite, and those should be going idle. But I'm wondering now, because I have a couple of those 2 different freight cars that are bringing in bauxite, of how I have that balance back up at my outpost. So I'm going to go check on that. And then I think the rest of this I need to do my coal too. So I only have 120 coming in right now, which will give me 1 refinery worth. So if I do that by 2.5%, I should be able to get my needed amount. So let me go check the outpost and we'll see what we've got here. Alright, so yes, I do have 600 coming in. But what's happening is these 2 belts here are bringing in 240 from each, from a pure node, one over there and one out over that way. And then I have a normal node at 120 right there. So I have these 2 240s that are coming in, and they're going into the same freight car. And I only have one 120 going into this freight car. So I'm going to do a 240 in each, and then I'll do a splitter for this 120 and have that go into each of the freight cars just to get the balance correct. Alright, and that should do the trick. I've got 1 240 belt going into the front one here, another one going into the back one here, and then I have my 120 being split between the 2 here. So now I should have 300 going into each, and there's even room for expansion if I do want to overclock those bauxite in the future. So now I just need to get my coal set up here. Is this one that's running coal through, and just to get that up to the 2.5. Alright, and then bringing my coal up to 300, that gets me to my 2.5 needed, and I should be running good now. let's go see how we got it going. Yeah, I changed all my names too, so now I have Red Oxide Express. That's the train coming up between Red Oxide Outpost next to me here. Maybe I can zoom in far enough. And then I have the Red Oxide main station down here. So I have all my bauxite up this way, and that train goes quite a long ways around, right? Like it goes down through this way, and then I think it's all the way over here, and then it goes down and back and around all the way down to here. And it's a little bit out of the way. It's not too bad, I guess, really, but it's really just right down here is where all of my stuff is at. So let's go ahead and take the short way. All right, and since I'm using my leftover water from aluminum to make plastic from here, let's just make sure I'm not getting backed up here. I have this industrial buffer, and I've got quite a bit in there, so I need to either just like flush this, I guess, and just let it fill back up. It would be an interesting concept if you could discharge this back into the main water body, into this lake, this ocean here. Maybe like through some other kind of means, like a purifying means kind of thing, just to get that back into here. I don't know, something like that would be kind of cool. All right, so back to getting this completed here. I think what I'm gonna do, I was gonna put my foundries in this building here, and then have room for expansion, but there isn't, I don't really like how this would expand with having this be a refinery to make my aluminum scrap and water. So I think what I'm gonna do is make the same building over here and then put my foundries inside of it. So I'm just gonna do some math and see how many foundries I need, because I have not done that yet. Well, this is what I was thinking was gonna happen. I didn't really go out this far, but I was mentally preparing for it. So all right, I have aluminum scrap. I have 900 coming out of my refineries, and then I also have 250 silica that is coming out here too. But to make my ingots in the refineries, I need 900. I have 900 aluminum scrap, and I have 250. So 900 aluminum scrap, it's being consumed per foundry at 90. So I would need 10 foundries to do this. I think I'll be able to fit those in the building. We'll see. And then so silica, I need 75 per foundry. I'm only making 250 here, which is not enough to produce everything needed for 10 foundries. I need 750, so I need 500 more. So I'm gonna do some other stuff just to see what kind of silica I have back at Nebula Sanctum and that I can bring back into here. I don't know if I have 500 or not. I know I'm making quite a bit, and I even have more raw quartz that's back that way too that I could just construct into some silica over this way. Yeah, so in my quartz factory here that I just finished not too long ago, I only have 3 constructors making silica. I think I have plenty of quartz, but at 37.5, that's 37.5 times 3 is only 112.5. I need 500 silica per minute to do that. So either I'm gonna make it there, just because I only have 3 here, and this is just kind of for my general production of silica. And I'm gonna either ship just raw quartz over there and have it done that way, or I'm not gonna expand this. All right, yeah, this game really does scale. This was all really for phase 3 and general construction for all this design stuff. So let's see what we're gonna do. We gotta make some more silica. I'm gonna plan out some of that stuff, and we're gonna tackle that next time. So we will see you for the next adventures of more quartz and silica, and we're gonna go from there. All right, until next time.